Why poor discipline can destroy you. In this video, we'll discover why poor discipline can destroy you. I am sure you will have realized by now that the benefits of self-discipline are countless. To motivate you to practice self-discipline, here are some important effects of lack of discipline. You will be surprised to see how lack of discipline can affect the quality of your life, in so many ways. On the path to self-destruction. When we are not disciplined, it simply means that we are going to be victims of our problems and bad habits. Bad habits turn into addictions, which ultimately consume our happiness, peace, and health. Nothing good ever comes out of succumbing to an addiction. What follows suit will be a list of things to be worried about. You will feel remorseful for being an addict but, at the same time, feel miserable for not being able to resist your urges. You will get sucked into the vortex of misery and depression, and getting through each day is going to be a tougher ordeal. Self-interest. When you are not disciplined, it will be very hard for you to appreciate what you have. You will end up craving for more and putting your interests above others. Your efforts will mostly be channelized towards achieving only your desires, without taking into consideration the welfare of others. The simple fact that you are indulging in your addictions to derive happiness, knowing pretty well how it will impact your friends and family, is an indication that you value your own interests more than that of others. This will not only hamper your relationships with others but also have an impact on your career. Nobody likes working with an individual who constantly puts his interests above the team's interests. Hence, it can have some jarring consequences on the work front as well. Lack of responsibility. When you are not disciplined, you seldom care about the consequences of your actions or inaction. Also, only a person who is capable of putting others' interests above his/hers will be able to take the lead on things and assume responsibility. I have already mentioned how lack of discipline makes one selfish. This makes it even more difficult to assume responsibility for matters concerning work as well as your personal life. When you constantly shy away from taking responsibility for your actions, it has the following impacts. You will not be respected by your peers or your superiors. After all, responsibility and accountability are extremely important when working as a team. When you are always trying to pass on the baton, people would no longer care about passing it to you in the first place. Hence, this attitude will definitely affect your chances of a promotion. On the personal front, it will increase the frustration levels of your friends and family members when you are not taking responsibility for the various tasks at home or for your actions. Not even your loved ones will be interested to cut you some slack forever and take on the extra work. Hence, it is important that you don't ruin your existing relationships by shrugging off your responsibilities every time you feel agitated. When your mind lacks discipline, it becomes that much more complicated to control your emotions and thoughts. When faced with an adversity, you will feel agitated and lose track of the solution. Your mind will be clouded with your impulsive thoughts, which will hamper your decision-making as well. Similarly, when you get addicted to your desires, it becomes difficult to get out of it, without disciplining your mind first. You may attempt getting out of the addiction, only to fail shortly. We have already seen how addictions are capable of destroying our happiness. Added to that, the loss of our loved ones' trust can also be quite discouraging. All these will certainly add on to your frustration and agitation. You will be constantly criticized. Of course, there will be a group of people who will criticize, no matter how earnest and disciplined you are. I am not referring to that bunch when I mean that you will be subject to constant criticism. Your colleagues, managers, even your own family will criticize you, owing to the following reasons. When you lack discipline, your efforts will not be spent only for productive things. For instance, you would end up spending time and money on your addictions, which could have otherwise been utilized in a productive manner. This could affect your productivity at work as well as your personal relationships. When your mind lacks discipline, you will always behave in an impulsive manner. However, this might not be the best way to deal with most problems in hand. We have already seen how self-interest is an offshoot of lack of discipline. When you are forever putting your interests above that of others, it indicates that you are not a team player or someone who is not vested in the interests of the family. When you lack the discipline, you will end up defying authority, quite often, and not take responsibility either. People find it difficult to deal with individuals who have a problem with the rules and yet do nothing to change the status quo. Low self-esteem and self-confidence. When you realize that your efforts don't translate to results, you will automatically be frustrated. You will start questioning your ability to handle the task on hand. Gradually, your confidence levels and self-esteem will drop. You will not be motivated to do anything with full vigor. Abstaining from putting your best efforts will only result in more failures. Hence, it is a vicious cycle of disappointment. Further, when you are constantly subject to criticism, you start losing trust in your abilities. You will also constantly be disappointed with your inability to get over your bad habits and addictions. This also affects your morale to a large extent. Pessimism. Constant failures may impair your optimism to a large extent. Over time, you end up becoming cynical and looking at everything in a negative vein. You end up developing a pessimistic attitude. As a result, you will generalize your misfortunes and not focus on solving the problem in hand. You will fail to look at the obvious solutions staring at your face. You would rather spend your energy and time cribbing about your problems than actually solving it. This pessimistic attitude will have a grave impact on your professional development as well. Managers like rewarding people who are solution providers. You will not be looking for the solutions in any situation if you have a pessimistic mindset. In the absence of sufficient gratification at work, you will not be motivated to work better. On the personal front, your family and friends will refrain from sharing any problem with you, because you have nothing to offer, except your pessimism. This will also hamper your mental peace and happiness. Poor health. Your health, both physical and mental, takes a huge toll on you when you lack discipline. When you lack discipline, it simply translates to lack of respect for your body and mind. You will not pay attention to what you eat. You will not spend the time and effort to indulge in fitness activities. You find it extremely difficult to let go of your bad habits. This definitely has a bearing on your physical well-being. The more you get addicted to something, the more the quality of your health starts spiraling in a downward direction. On the other hand, you also feel agitated and stressed quite often. As an offshoot of stress, you find it difficult to sleep peacefully. You may end up suffering from anxiety attacks. Hence, your mental health also goes for a toss when you lack discipline. Lack of productivity. When you are not disciplined, you will seldom have any respect for anything, including time. You won't think twice before you throw away your time on something unproductive. You will happily be a prisoner of procrastination. When you keep procrastinating constantly, you will realize that you have much less time left to focus on the deliverables in hand. You end up doing a botched job by trying to finish everything at the last minute. When you meet all your deliverables at the last minute and in a rushed manner, the quality of your work is greatly compromised. You may end up reworking on most of your deliverables to ensure that they are error-free and meaningful. This is nothing but being unproductive. When you are not productive, it has an impact on your professional development. When procrastination creeps to the other spheres of your life, your overall happiness will be gravely affected. For instance, if you forever put off making plans to meet a friend, you might end up losing that friendship. When you put off making important decisions, you may end up compromising the happiness of your family and friends as well. This will definitely impact the quality of your relationships with others. Similarly, when you put off following a certain diet always, you may end up compromising on the quality of your health as well.